Hey there, friends. Something I don't think I've talked about on this channel yet is the fact that I'm going to be a new grandpa. You've got a grandbaby on the way, still a couple of months off, but needless to say, as a soon-to-be grandpa, getting real excited about what I can do to make things for the baby. So I was talking to his parents and said, "What are some things you want?" And they began talking about the furniture, and I said, "Great, I can make baby furniture." And they said, "That's perfect. We want Montessori furniture." And I'm like, "What?" Didn't even know what Montessori was. I've seen the name Montessori outside of school, so I just naturally assume that it's a educational system, particularly uh, you know related to churches or something like that, because it always seems to be outside a church where I see that. So had no idea that Montessori was a style of furniture. It does go along with the Montessori educational thing, but it's all about uh, enabling the kids to be self-sufficient. And as my son is telling me about this, he describes the size of the bookcases and size of the tables, things like that. And I said, "Listen, you had all that stuff when you were growing up. We just called it kid-size furniture. We didn't call it Montessori." But he wants a Montessori, so today I am working on a Montessori table. The design I have isn't really Montessori in my mind, but I think it's close enough. But I tell you what, as we go through it, drop me a comment down below and let's see what you think. I started the table build by cutting out the square piece of plywood using my homemade saw guide. You can see that in the upper right hand corner. Rounded off the corners, just used a can to mark the circles, then came in with my jigsaw and cut that. I tried staying a little bit outside the line. I'm not the best when it comes to using the jigsaw, so grabbed my palm sander and just gave it a little light sanding to get down to the corner lines, help round things over. Then I came up with my palm grip router. This is a little Bosch 12-volt bottle, very easy to hold, nice stable platform, and just did a quarter round on both sides to give it the nice rounded look all the way around. After that, I just gave it another light sanding. Sanded the edges first, and then just a very light sand. This is sanded plywood, so we didn't need much on the top. Just gave it a very light sanding, took it all the way up to 220 grit, just so it'll accept finish a little bit nicer. Starting on the base, went over to the table saw and just ripped down some salvaged 2x4s. These came out of the construction dumpster, which I just really enjoy using that. I cut the legs to 1.5 inches square. You can see I planed these 2x4s down, so they're just slightly under 1.5 inches. So my total size is of the legs is a little bit under 1.5 inches. Then cut the rails to 3/4 inch. Again, just rip those on the plywood. Here you can see I've already started my mark out lines, my layout lines on there. We're going to finish the rest of it up with hand tools. Did the rough milling with the power tools, and now we're going to switch over to hand tools. Just laying out for the castle joints. Never used this type joint before in a piece of furniture. Just really looking forward to how that's going to turn out. So it's just a cross on the end grain of the board and take it down to the whip. The rails are going to be held in with half lap. So took my Veritas rip saw and just ripped down both lines. Again, tried to stay on the inside of the lines, trying to sneak up on the final dimension. That's something I've not been very good at. I get impatient and I try cutting right on the line, but this time I'm going to try and stick just inside the line. And we'll do that on both sides to cut the cross in there to form the castle joint. You can see I flipped the video a little bit. I'm a little bit out of order, so went ahead and started on the half lap for the stiles, or the rails. Sorry, but you can see at this point I have already removed the waist of the castle joint, and I did that with my chisels. There should be some video of that coming up here in just a minute. So this apron I'm using is it's actually a potter's apron. Found it on Amazon. It really makes sitting on the low bench a lot easier. So now you can see I'm just chiseling out the waist with the chisels, with the hand chisels. Eventually I am going to step up to some better ones. Now you can see I'm cutting the waist out on the legs itself. I do apologize for getting this video a little bit out of sync, but so just started the lines on each side and then came in and paired from the end. This is nice straight grain pine, and those pieces just, I mean, almost fell away. And then come back in with the chisel, do some pairing strokes to clean up the bottom. And then as I do the fit up, you'll see that I'm still not down to the line, not doing well. So I came in with some more pairing strokes. I started doing the pairing strokes from the top to the bottom, but I was starting to drift in. So I switched and came from the bottom up, and that just really helped me get a crisper line there. Again, staying inside the lines, you'll see I'm having to clean these up a little bit, and I'm doing this on purpose. I'm trying to get more intentional about staying away from the line and sneaking up on that. Now this actually was the third leg. The first two legs I did, they came out okay, but not great. Third leg was better. By the time I got to the fourth leg, though, I was starting to get tired, and I was actually needed to sharpen my chisel. And rather than getting out there and sharpening the chisel, I just powered through it, which is a mistake. Checking for squareness. It came out pretty good, but I did have to square it up a little bit. This is the design I've come up with. It is a little bit inspired by mission style furniture, the arts and crafts movement. I'm using a castle joint. This is my first time ever attempting to build anything with the castle joint. So everything is half lapped here, and that's nestling inside these cross joints. Extremely strong, I think, and I think it looks good. Right now, everything is just dry fit. There's no glue applied. I still need to square up the legs and square up the frame before we finish. The top is just a piece of sanded plywood, which I will be attaching. I've rounded over the corners, of course, so it's going to be nice and safe. This does not match the Montessori style that I see online. Personally, I like it, but I want to know what you think. Does this style table classify as Montessori? For those of you with experience with Montessori, I mean, absolutely let me know, yes or no. What do you think? The other question that I'm really struggling with right now is when I look online, the vast majority of the Montessori furniture is natural finish. It's usually Baltic birch plywood, that has a clear finish on it. That's part of the Montessori, I guess, philosophy is natural color. Personally, I would like to have a little color on here. So I'm debating. I'm really torn. Let me know what you think, because it is for a kid's room. I'm actually thinking of some colored stains or dye stains, something like that, just to brighten it up a little bit. The overall table is 18 inches tall and 24 inches square. Going to be making some chairs to go along with it. I think that's really a good size for a toddler. So let me know what you think below, good or bad. I am certainly open to any kind of constructive criticism that's out there. So I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear what you think. Also, I'd love to see any projects that you have along the same lines. So let me know down below. All right, until next time, friends, take care. God bless.